Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are going to fundamentally rewire how you approach your digital advertising. Look, if you're operating in the B2B space, you already know the deal, right? LinkedIn is the absolute gold standard for reaching professionals. There is literally nowhere else on the internet where people willingly, even eagerly, update their resumes, their job changes, and their skill sets in real time for you to target. It's a marketer's dream. But here is the multi-million-dollar problem. Most advertisers out there, they're essentially setting their marketing budgets on fire. And why is that? Because they completely misunderstand the underlying mechanics of how LinkedIn actually classifies human beings. You go in thinking you're targeting the ultimate decision maker, but the platform's algorithm is actively handing you someone else entirely. It's wild. So today we're going to unpack the hidden algorithms of LinkedIn ads. We are going to completely decouple job titles from job functions, and I'm going to show you exactly how to rebuild your targeting architecture from the ground up so you can truly reach the executives who actually hold the purse strings.
To help you maximize your ROI, here is our roadmap for today. 1. The LinkedIn targeting trap. 2. How the algorithm thinks. 3. The job title problem. 4. The function and seniority fix. 5. When to target titles. And finally, 6. The winning B2B playbook.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the LinkedIn targeting trap.
If you're tasked with targeting highly specific B2B decision makers, you've probably been wondering why your campaigns constantly struggle with sky-high costs, tiny delivery pools, and just completely irrelevant clicks. I mean, picture this very common scenario. You sit down, you open up Campaign Manager, and you launch an expensive, highly tailored campaign looking for chief marketing officers or VPs of IT. You let it run for a few days, feeling good about it, right? But then you check your analytics, and your premium ads are being clicked by entry-level marketing specialists, interns, or random external consultants. You are bleeding budget with every single one of those irrelevant clicks, and you're left scratching your head wondering, is the platform just broken? Let me reassure you right now. It's not broken. It is just functioning on a highly specific, rigid logic that your campaign architecture hasn't aligned with yet. The moment you understand that hidden logic, absolutely everything changes.
Here is the crux of the issue. The idea of job title targeting promises absolute pinpoint precision. You type in VP of Marketing, and you naturally assume you are getting exactly that, a dart right in the bullseye of the buying committee. But the reality? The reality of the platform is very different. Because think about it, every other B2B marketer on the planet is typing in that exact same exact match title, which means you instantly trigger fierce auction competition. Every single one of you is bidding on the exact same tiny pool of users. And what happens? Your cost per click skyrockets. You end up paying these premium enterprise-level rates in this massive bidding war. But because of how users are actually categorized behind the scenes, your ads are often served to people with misclassified roles who have absolutely zero buying authority for your product. It's a classic high-cost, low-reward trap.
Let's move to our next section, Section 2, How the Algorithm Thinks.
To understand this trap fully, we have to talk about super titles. This is absolutely crucial. Think of the algorithm like a very strict bouncer at a super exclusive club. When users create their LinkedIn profile, that job title box they fill out, it's not a drop-down menu. It is just a free-form text field. Users can type literally whatever they want in there, and trust me, they do. So to make sense of millions of unique, messy, misspelled, or just highly creative text inputs, LinkedIn uses natural language processing to group similar titles into a standardized taxonomy. These standardized groups are the super titles. So when you type a specific job title into your campaign targeting, you aren't actually searching the raw text on users' profiles. Not at all. You are querying LinkedIn's hidden overarching super title categories. And if the bouncer doesn't instantly recognize the user's custom title, they do not get into your targeting pool.
Furthermore, instead of relying on infinite title variations, LinkedIn essentially categorizes its massive user base into about 26 fixed job functions based on their current role. Think of these as broad departmental categories, things like marketing, engineering, information technology, sales, finance. The algorithm infers this primary function from whatever random job title the user typed in. But here is the massive catch that burns so many advertisers out there. A user can only be assigned to one primary function, just one. So, if you are targeting cross-functional workers, maybe a revenue operations manager or a sales enablement lead, they are physically forced into a single bucket by the algorithm. Maybe the system picks sales, maybe it picks operations. If you're only looking in one specific place, you are entirely missing them in the other, fundamentally limiting your campaign's reach before it even gets off the ground.
This brings us to Section 3, the job title problem.
Data from B2B advertising practitioners reveals a staggering reality about this whole natural language processing system. LinkedIn successfully classifies only about 55% of active user job titles into those neat, targetable super titles. Just 55%. Let that sink in for a second. That leaves a massive 45% of the platform completely excluded from standard title targeting due to creative formatting, abbreviations, or just unconventional wording. Almost half of the entire platform. If your entire strategy relies on exclusively targeting standard job titles, you are automatically making your brand invisible to nearly half of your potential buyers. You're out there competing fiercely for the 55% while completely ignoring a massive, untapped audience of identical buyers.
So why exactly is that 45% unclassified? Honestly, it's because people absolutely love to be creative on the internet, and modern startup culture has fully embraced these quirky naming conventions. When you target a standard title like HR director or sales representative, you completely miss out on professionals using non-standard, self-appointed designations. You miss the sales ninja. You miss the operations overlord. You completely bypass the chief heart officer or the data Jedi. And yeah, it might sound funny or even absurd, but those people, they might hold the exact budget and executive authority you need to close a massive software deal. By strictly targeting standard, rigid titles, you're effectively fishing in a vast ocean with a tiny spear instead of casting a wide, efficient net.
And the problems with rigid job titles certainly don't stop there. You're also going to face a hidden tax of about 5 to 7% audience bleed. Why does this happen? Well, because human behavior is inherently a bit lazy. Many users simply do not close out their previous employment on their profiles when they get a new job. Someone might leave a major enterprise tech company to start their own tiny consulting business, but because they left their old job open on their profile, LinkedIn's targeting data gets confused. It collects that historical data and fails to account for the change, leaving your carefully crafted audience bloated with people who no longer hold the title you are paying top dollar to reach. It's basically a ghost audience, and you're paying for it.
But the good news is, there is a solution. Let's get into Section 4, the function and seniority fix. There is a highly effective, deeply tested solution to this entire mess. By decoupling your strategy from the rigidity of job titles and instead targeting a broader job function layered with a specific seniority level, your potential audience size instantly becomes about 1.8 times larger. Think about the massive impact of that. You completely bypass the super title classification confusion. You bypass the creative sales ninja problem because they are finally caught in your broader net. And you instantly scale your reach while actually lowering your competitive bid costs because you are no longer fighting in that hyper-competitive exact match keyword bloodbath. You open the aperture, you lower your costs, and you capture the real decision makers. It's a total game changer.
Let's map out how this dynamic duo works in real-world practice. Grouping a broad departmental function, like information technology, with a seniority level, like VP, Director, or CXO, allows you to capture an entire decision-making layer at once. Whether their quirky, self-reported title is Director of IT, Head of Tech, or Supreme Commander of Computers, it simply doesn't matter anymore. The algorithm natively knows they work in the IT department, and it knows they are operating at a director level or higher. Instead of guessing the dozen different ways someone might describe their job, you catch the entire relevant buying committee in one clean, highly efficient sweep.
But red alert here, guys, there is a massive pitfall that quietly drains B2B budgets every single day. I call it the senior trap. In the real corporate world, the word senior sounds like leadership, right? Like a senior vice president or a senior partner. But in LinkedIn's strict targeting taxonomy, senior strictly denotes experienced individual contributors. A senior software engineer or a senior copywriter has been doing their job for years, sure, but they have absolutely zero executive buying power. If you select the senior classification box when you are looking for actual executives to buy your enterprise product, you will route your expensive ad budget directly to individual contributors who literally cannot sign the check. Always, always leave senior unchecked when you are hunting for true leadership.
Now there are exceptions. Let's cover those in Section 5, when to target titles. In marketing, there's always an exception to the rule, right? So we need to cover exactly when that tiny spear is actually the right tool for the job. Job titles still absolutely reign supreme when you are hunting for very specific, universally standardized technical roles. Let's say you need a DevOps engineer, a site reliability engineer, or a highly specialized data scientist. The broad function category of engineering or information technology would just be way too vast. You would waste a fortune showing ads to hardware specialists and help desk IT support when you specifically need cloud software engineers. So in these highly technical, strictly named niches, or for brand new emerging executive roles like a chief transformation officer, precise title targeting is still your absolute best friend.
But you have to choose your path wisely. LinkedIn's Campaign Manager system physically prevents you from layering job function, seniority, and job title in the exact same target parameter using AND logic. The platform will literally gray it out and stop you. You just can't do it. You have to make a definitive strategic decision for each campaign. Are you going broad with function and seniority to capture an entire leadership layer efficiently, or are you going surgical with job title alone for a highly specialized technical role? You cannot have both in the same targeting block, so you have to know your core objective before you even start building.
Now let's bring it all together. Section 6. The Winning B2B Playbook.
All right, here is your architectural playbook for high-yield demand generation. Step 1. Start with a broad job function, say marketing or finance. Step 2. Layer in the correct executive seniority, director, VP, CXO. And remember, do not click senior. Finally, step 3 is the real secret sauce. To make up for the precision you gave up by ditching job titles, you add specific member skills. If you want digital marketing leaders rather than event planners, you add skills like Google Ads, SEO, or demand generation. This trifecta right here, function, seniority, and skills, dials in the absolute perfect balance of massive scale and pinpoint precision, giving you the exact buyers you want at a fraction of the cost.
Building the ideal audience is only half the battle, though. To truly protect your budget, you must ruthlessly use exclusions. Interestingly enough, exclusions are actually prioritized over inclusions by LinkedIn's algorithm. It acts as a strict gatekeeper. You must actively remove the unpaid, training, and entry seniority levels from every single campaign. Exclude your competitors so you aren't paying for them to spy on your messaging. And critically, exclude entirely unrelated functions that might bleed into your audience. If you are selling B2B SaaS, aggressively exclude functions like healthcare services or military and protective services. This ensures your spend is completely insulated from irrelevant, budget-draining clicks.
And as you build these brilliantly targeted new campaigns, you have got to remember one staggering fact from our research. 90.4% of your total LinkedIn ad impressions will happen on a mobile device. Over 90%. Think about what that actually means. If you are sitting at your desk building highly detailed ads designed for a massive 27-inch desktop monitor, you are setting yourself up for failure. This is a scroll on the subway platform. Your audience is likely viewing your ad on a cracked smartphone screen while waiting in line for coffee. You must optimize your ad creative, ensure your text legibility is flawless at small sizes, and build your landing pages specifically for mobile thumbs. Otherwise, all this amazing targeting work will be totally wasted on a terrible user experience.
To guarantee performance while still discovering new opportunities, we highly recommend an 80-20 budget allocation moving forward. Dedicate 80% of your budget to the proven, highly scalable function and seniority method we just built. This is going to ensure a steady, cost-effective pipeline of actual decision-makers hitting your sales team every single week. Then, you leave the remaining 20% of your budget to experiment and test highly specific job titles for those niche technical segments we talked about earlier. This strategy completely protects your baseline revenue while still allowing for aggressive, smart testing in new markets. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a vital, provocative question to take in your next marketing meeting. Are you going to continue relying on the old, inefficient way, comfortably missing nearly 45% of your target market while overpaying in a bidding war for a tiny fraction of exact match titles? Or will you embrace a broader, smarter targeting architecture today that captures the entire buying committee? The insights, the strategies, and the tools are right there in Campaign Manager waiting for you to use them. It is time to upgrade your approach, stop guessing what title someone randomly gave themselves, and start scaling your B2B growth for real.